Welcome to another edition of Inside Brand Japan. Today, we're diving straight into a strategic briefing on crisis management right here in Tokyo. As a global executive operating in this market, you know your grasp of local business mechanics is tested daily. But there's one specific area where a miscalculation doesn't just stall negotiations, it literally severs the relationship for good. So today, we're analyzing the strategic architecture of the Japanese corporate apology. We'll look at exactly why mastering this is an absolute necessity for your business survival.
To really understand the stakes here, let's look at a scenario drawn directly from the crisis management suite of a Tokyo headquarters. Imagine a global data breach has just been confirmed. You've got an American chief operating officer getting frantic instructions from legal counsel in New York. Their directive is clear, and it's probably familiar to any Western executive. Whatever you do, do not apologize. Maintain the no-comment stance. To the New York lawyer, an apology is a liability. It's an admission of negligence. But now, look at the contrasting response from the Japanese CEO facing that exact same crisis. His assessment is entirely different. He says, "If we follow your counsel, we will lose the Japanese market by sunset. We are going down there to bow." This isn't just some cultural difference. It's a critical business risk. If you misunderstand this dynamic, you lose the deal.
Here's our agenda for today's explainer. We'll be moving through 5 key areas: the executive dilemma, the architecture of atonement, the cost of hubris, the tactical playbook, and finally, the graceful reset. Our goal today is to shift your mindset from viewing an apology as a legal surrender to actually utilizing it as a strategic advantage.
Section 1. The executive dilemma. Legal shield versus market reality. When a crisis hits, the instinct of a foreign executive is almost universally dictated by Western legal frameworks. But that legal instinct to deny, deflect, and raise a shield, it guarantees failure in Tokyo. Over here, the market reality is completely different. The apology is not a legal admission of guilt. Rather, it's the Great Reset. It's a highly sophisticated, culturally mandated ritual designed to absorb public and partner anger. It clears the social debt so that business can actually resume. Refusing to apologize in Japan doesn't protect you. It signals a lack of humanity, or ningsensei. And in the eyes of your Japanese partners, that arrogance is a far greater threat to your corporate survival than any potential legal settlement could ever be.
Moving on to Section 2, the architecture of atonement, decoding the bow. So how is this reset actually executed in practice? Let's look at the actual calculus of the bow. What's truly fascinating here is how the executive's physical incline directly communicates the severity of the mistake. None of this is arbitrary. A 15-degree incline, the ishaku, is reserved for minor disruptions. At 30 degrees, the kairei, you're acknowledging standard professional mistakes. But when the fundamental trust of the collective is broken, only the psyche ray will suffice. That's a deep bow of 45 to 90 degrees, held for several seconds. When you see executives holding this deep bow during a press conference, they aren't just posing. They're performing a precise calculation of social debt and broadcasting their understanding of the transgression severity. The psychological logic driving this geometry is rooted in the concept of Hansei, which means deep self-reflection. Japan is a culture that prioritizes wa, or harmony. In this system, a mistake isn't just a contractual error. It's viewed as a literal tear in the social fabric. The physical act of the bow acts as a needle and thread. By physically lowering the head, which is the most vulnerable part of the human body, the executive is proving that they value the relationship and collective harmony far above their own personal ego. It's a very public acknowledgement that the individual me has inconvenienced the collective us.
Section 3. Emotional versus legal restitution, the paradigm clash.
This brings us to a crucial systemic difference in how failure is processed. Notice the distinction we're making here. Western corporate culture relies heavily on legal precision. During a crisis, the immediate goal is to parse out exactly who is at fault in order to limit liability. The Japanese corporate system, on the other hand, operates on total responsibility. The CEO steps up and apologizes, not necessarily because they personally made the technical error, but because the organization they lead failed the community. The focus is entirely on emotional restitution. This broad acceptance of blame is actually a defensive maneuver. It shields the company from prolonged public vitriol. Because once the bow is performed and the public accepts the sincerity of the gesture, the narrative immediately shifts from dissecting the mistake to focusing on the recovery.
Section 4. The cost of hubris. Kobe Steel versus Takata Corporation.
To truly understand the ROI of this strategy, we have to examine what happens when it's executed properly and what happens when it's ignored. These 2 case studies illustrate the stark reality of the Japanese market. Back in 2017, Kobe Steel faced a massive data falsification scandal. Their leadership immediately performed a deep, coordinated psyche ray. This wasn't decorative. It was a strategic necessity to signal to industrial giants like Toyota and Mitsubishi that Kobe Steel was ready to endure the necessary shame to fix the problem. And they survived. Contrast that with Takata Corporation during their airbag recall crisis. Their leadership was slow, vague, and highly defensive. To the Japanese public and to their partners, this was a complete failure of Hansei. The market punished their defensive posture severely, and it led to a total collapse in social trust and eventual bankruptcy.
The ultimate takeaway from those case studies is crystal clear. In Japan, the speed and the perceived sincerity of the emotional restitution often dictate the company's financial fate far more than the actual technical failure itself. The failure is the crisis, yes, but the lack of a proper apology, that's the fatal blow.
Section 5. The Tactical Playbook, Executing the Strategy.
So, how do you, as a foreign executive, actually navigate this? When a mistake occurs, say a late shipment or a missed deadline, your very first move determines the trajectory of the partnership. Step 1. Prioritize sincerity over defense. Focus entirely on the inconvenience caused to the client. Do not explain why it happened yet. In Japan, the reason often sounds exactly like an excuse. Step 2. Execute the physicality. If you're in person, perform the bow with a straight back and hold the position. A hurried bow signals a lack of reflection. Step 3. Utilize the small apology strategy. Apologize for minor things, a long email, a rainy day. This builds a trust reservoir you can draw upon later. And finally, Step 4. Separate the social from the legal. You really do not have to admit total legal fault to satisfy the cultural requirement. In fact, by working with local Japanese legal counsel, you can craft specific phrasing to bridge this gap. Stating, "We are deeply sorry for the concern this incident has caused," is a highly effective tactical solution. It directly addresses the emotional state and the inconvenience of the client, which fulfills the requirement of Hansei, without necessarily creating a specific legal loophole or admitting to a breach of contract. It's a highly sophisticated balance of cultural respect and corporate protection.
Section 6. The Graceful Reset, Gaining the Upper Hand. Now we arrive at the final and perhaps most sophisticated element of this strategy. To the untrained eye, bowing appears submissive, but by taking the lower position during the apology, you actually gain the upper hand in the negotiation that immediately follows. It's a highly strategic power play. Once you've apologized correctly and absorbed the blame, the burden of wa, that burden of harmony, shifts directly to the other party. Because you've performed the ritual properly, they are now culturally obligated to be gracious, to drop their anger, and to work cooperatively toward a resolution. You have effectively weaponized your own vulnerability to secure their cooperation and move the business forward.
The corporate apology in Japan is a high-stakes ritual, but when mastered, it becomes the ultimate tool for restoring the social equilibrium required for business to function. It shows a profound understanding of the market. I'm going to leave you with this question from today's briefing to reflect upon. In your next high-pressure meeting, would you be willing to prioritize the emotional reset of a deep bow over the legal shield of a defensive silence? Thank you for joining us for this explainer.